Today we're going to read another book from our Alpha Tales series. We're going to focus on the letter F. There's a capital F and a lowercase f. F makes the sound F. The title of our story is Fifi, Ferret's Flute. That title has a lot of F sounds in it. Fifi, Ferret begins with F, and Flute begins with F. On the cover, we see Fifi Ferret right there. A ferret is a type of animal, and she's playing her flute. We have all the little music notes to show that she's playing music. This story was written by Samantha Berger. She is the author, and it was illustrated by Ann Kennedy. That means she drew the pictures. So before we read, we're going to do a picture walk to see what this story is all about. Oh, I see Fifi, and I see an older ferret here. Maybe that's the mom or the dad. I see Fifi playing her flute in front of other ferrets, maybe her friends or her family. She's playing it all by herself up in a tree. She's playing it in the meadow of flowers. Oh no, it looks like she might have dropped her flute. It looks like Fifi's chasing it, and the flute looks like it's floating down the river. There she is. She looks worried. And there's a frog catching a fly, and her flute is still floating. There's a deer. There's Fifi. There's the frog. I wonder if the frog's trying to help her. And over here, there they are, and they find a fox. I still see her flute floating in the river. And a fish. I hope the fish doesn't eat it. All the people on the bank, all the animals over there look very excited. There was a flamingo. Must have missed that one. And, oh good, I think the fish is going to give Fifi the flute. And then she looks like she's playing music for all of her friends. And this is our search and find. So, I like to do a picture walk because a lot of times I get an idea of what the story is about just from what the pictures show me. So I'm going to guess that this story is about Fifi, and I think she might lose her flute in the river, and she finds a bunch of friends along the way to help her catch her flute as it floats down the river. So we'll read the story and see if we're right. And I want you to pay attention to all of the words that you hear that begin with the F sound. So anything that starts with F. Okay. Open. When Fifi Ferret was 5 years old, her father gave her a flute. He says, "For you, Fifi." She says, "It's fantastic." So that was her father. We know 5 starts with F. Father and flute all begin with the letter F. Turn. Fifi Ferret loved her flute. She played it for her family. She played it in the forest. She played it in fields of flowers. Got family and forest and fields and flowers. All begin with F. One day, Fifi was playing her flute by the river. Suddenly, the flute fell from Fifi's hands. Oh no, you can see it bounced off the rocks straight into the water. Fifi says, "My flute!" Turn. The flute floated far, far away. Fifi ran after it. Floated and far start with F. The flute floated past Frog, who was catching flies. "Follow that flute," yelled Fifi. Frog and flies both start with F. The flute floated past Fawn, who was nibbling ferns. "Follow that flute," yelled Fifi and Frog. There's Fawn, the baby deer. The flute floated past Fox, who was eating figs. "Follow that flute," yelled Fifi, Frog, and Fawn. All of these animals start with the letter F. There's fox, frog, fawn, and even figs. Turn. The flute floated past Flamingo, who was fluffing her feathers. "Follow that flute," yelled Fifi, Frog, Fawn, and Fox. Flamingo is also an F word, and fluffing and feathers. Fifi, Frog, Fawn, Fox, and Flamingo ran fast, but the flute floated faster. "Oh no, it's floating towards the falls," Fifi cried. Fifi feared her flute would be lost forever. A lot of F words on that page. We missed this during our picture walk. I didn't see the waterfall last time. Turn. All of a sudden, Fish leapt from the water. She grabbed the flute right before it fell down the falls. Look, they're all cheering, "Hooray for Fish!" Turn. Fifi was so happy to have her flute back. She says, "My flute, thank you, Fish." And he says, "Here's your flute, Fifi." But Fifi was even happier to have such fabulous friends. All of her friends are listening to her play her flute. Let's count how many animals are on this page that start with the letter F. There's frog, that's 1. Fish, that's 2. Ferret, that's 3. Fox, that's 4. Flamingo, that's 5. And fawn, that's 6. 6 animals that all begin with the letter F. Okay, turn. How many things can you find that begin with the letter F? Well, we know we just talked about Fifi the ferret, and the fish, and the fox, and the fawn, and the frog, and the flamingo. Oh, but look, there's flowers, and a flag, and the frog is playing a fiddle. Okay, you can take a minute, see what else you can find. See if there's anything else that starts with the letter F. You can pause the story if you need a minute. And now we're going to do our letter F cheer. F is for ferret. F is for flute. F is for flower, feather, and fruit. F is for frog, friend, and French fries. F is for fox and fireflies. Hooray for F, big and small, the most fantastic, fabulous letter of all. And that is the end. So we're going to close the back cover. I hope you enjoyed your story about Fifi Ferret and her flute.